Another duly noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point. Hello again, everybody, and welcome into another duly noted podcast brought to you, as always, and presented by Titan MRI. We come to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Coach Spurrier will be along shortly, and we'll talk to him about a lot of things. There's a lot of things to talk about, including football playoffs. He was at the basketball game. We'll talk about that. Again, on Friday, Paul Feinbaum is going to be our guest. Can't wait for that. That'll be an interesting discussion. Efforting to get Greg Sankey on next Friday, but we'll see. He's very busy, as you know, and, of course, he's out in SoCal for the national championship game tonight. But we'll see if we can get him to come on next Friday. Otherwise, we'll have somebody else. And, of course, Coach Spurrier will be back on again next Monday. We had an interesting weekend. Let's just leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. There we go. All right. Let's get to our starting lineup. As we always love the Hand Law starting lineup. And, of course, starting lineup is presented by Hand Law, a Florida law firm which helps clients with government. You can learn more about Hand Law by visiting its website at www.hand.law. The firm is available for consultation in Jacksonville. Appreciate Chris Hand so much. Let's start off with basketball and the game that Florida won on Saturday. It was interesting. It was kind of a weird deal. I went to the game. I haven't been to a game all year. But I said, I want to go. First of all, I want to see Mike White. I want to see the reception he gets. I want to see kind of the I was hoping to see him. I knew I would see him after the game, but I actually bumped into him in the hallway, and we had a great talk, hugged and everything. And I know there's a lot of people go, yeah, you love Mike White, man. We had to get rid of him. Look, I like the guy. I think he's a really good coach. I think he's a great recruiter. And the divorce was warranted because people just had gotten to a point where they didn't want him, and he'd gotten to a point where he didn't want them. Now, again, I'm talking about a small group of people, but it doesn't matter. He's at Georgia now. That's all that matters. But I did want to see him. That was one reason. I also wanted to see the Gators with my own eyes because I've been watching them on TV all year. And so I went to the game and sat up there in press row with my friend Scott Carter. We had a lot of good conversations. But the one thing I noticed when they came out was there's no energy on that basketball team. And when the starting lineup is introduced, I personally don't care for the way they do the starting lineups, don't care for the presentation they do with that thing on the court. I think there's a better way to do it. Gosh, when Florida was good, I thought they did the best way of all. Playing that U2 song. And, that place would be rocking and the players would be rocking. So when they got off to a bad start, I'm going, not surprising. There was no energy. Maybe they were a little beat down from what they've gone through, with all these losses at 500. Then they turn it on and they start playing really well. And, Georgia's not that good, but Georgia's coming off a win over Auburn. Auburn just beat Arkansas. But again, home court advantage is a big factor there with Auburn especially. And then they, of course, there was another run for Georgia. And they, come right back after Florida had taken a big lead. I think it was 13, as big as 13. And Florida ends up going on another run. And basketball is just a game of runs for the most part. Sometimes you get into that situation where one team dominates the whole game or one team's terrible the whole game. But for the most part, it's a game of runs, and you have the last one to pull it out. Certainly the way they played at the end of the game was tremendous, and it was a good win. It was a win they needed. It's a win Todd Golden needed. I know he's not results-oriented, which is never a good thing, but especially this year, this first year. But he needed to win it. And again, Mike White comes in there and thrashes him, and everybody's like, maybe we shouldn't have fired him. But I think there are a lot of people that felt that anyway. But certainly a good win. Again, this goes back to what I said before the Texas A&M game. It's not about whether it's a must win, it's a must not lose. And this was another one. Even though Georgia was coming off that big win over Auburn, Florida needed to win the game. They needed to not lose the game, in other words, because of the net rankings. Now, they only bumped up 2 spots. They're now number 70. I didn't look at it today, but that's where it was Sunday in the net rankings. But it was great to see Kyle Lofton And some people misunderstood the question I asked of Todd Golden after the game. I was asking him about, did he expect Lofton to play as much? And I didn't phrase it right. I meant at the point, because Bonham has been doing a lot of the point guard work, but Bonham wasn't very good. I don't know what happened to him in this game. He was just off, and so he didn't play a whole lot. I think he went 0 for 4 in the game after 21 the night before. So Kyle Lofton finally played the point, played it really well, and appreciate the effort he put in. It was really a good win for Florida, and Colin Castleton was a beast, 6 blocks in the first half. Now they have another game coming up against LSU. It's weird. Their schedule is so weird. They played 4 games in 4 weeks during the non-con part of it. Now they're playing 3 games in 6 days. So, there could be some weariness. And you're going to Baton Rouge, kind of loud there. It's not one of the hardest places to play. We'll see what happens. That's number 1 on the hand-loss starting lineup. Number 2, the Jaguars win. The Pack loses. Seattle's in. The playoffs are settled, finally. We know who it is. I will tell you, I don't know how this happened, but the Red Zone was on my television. Now, my daughter gave me the Red Zone for Christmas, but I said, well, I'm going to wait and install it next season because I want it for a full season. But then there it was. It was on my channel. I think they may have given it to us for free like they do at the beginning of the season. I watched literally like 9 straight hours of NFL, and because there were so many games that mattered, especially with that Red Zone on. It's so great. I thought Doug Peterson said it really well when he said this was typical of our whole season, up, down, sideways, everything. And I give him credit, give the Jaguars a lot of credit. In 1999 was the last time all 3 teams from the state of Florida made the playoffs. 1999. And it's only the 3rd time it's ever happened. Now, again, the Jaguars haven't been around that long, but still, it's been a while. And there's reasons for it all. Everybody's had a big slump, and this was the first time for a long time for the Dolphins to make the playoffs. Certainly, the Bucs went through their problems. We know what the Jaguars went through with Urban, but bottom line is, you got to have the right coach, you got to have the right players. Look, we're seeing what's going on with John McVay now. Not John McVay, Sean McVay. John McVay is the head of the Outback Bowl. Sean McVay, and then apparently he may step down after this game. And I don't know all the stuff that's going on there. Anyway, we'll see what happens with some other coaches, and we'll get to that on 3 things a little bit later. Number 3 was the story of Damar Hamlin this weekend, which was a positive one. I do caution people, he's not out of the woods yet completely, but it seems like every day it's getting better. It feels very much like Keontae Johnson again. I'm curious why it never comes up or rarely comes up with people, but it does feel a lot about. In fact, I talked to Mike White a little bit about him, about Keontae and what he's doing out there. And he was saying all he did when he couldn't play was shoot, and man, you can tell. By the way, Kansas State now 14-1, beat Baylor this weekend. And to start that game with a kickoff return for a touchdown, I literally it was tears in my eye. It was such a great opening, and then they're finally going to play the game, and then they run the kickoff back. And I was like, I came in, talk to my wife, was doing work. I said, you won't believe what happened in the Bills game. She goes, automatically, she's like, what? I go, they ran the kickoff back for a touchdown the first game after Damar Hamlin. So that was pretty cool. The whole thing was pretty cool. So it's weird. They put Damar Hamlin on IR. He's got one of those split contracts where if you go on IR, your amount of money is decreased, but they worked it out with the NFLPA. It really is not fair. You get hurt, you get less money. There's a lot of contracts like that in the NFL. It's a cutthroat league, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute as well. Number 4 on the hand-loss starting lineup, we wanted to talk about gymnastics. On Friday night, we had Jenny Rowland on, and we were all saying, well, this meet might not be that big a deal. It's, the teams that are coming in are anything special. But there'll be people there because people love gymnastics and they want to see Trinity Thomas have another year. They get a 5th year of Trinity Thomas. They want to watch her. It is, and I think Scott Carter did this great story about her, how special it is, how she take advantage of seeing her. And of course, everybody will be there Friday for the Auburn meet, but they drew, I think, 8,900 for. I can't even tell you the 3 teams. I know West Virginia was one of them. I can't even tell you the teams. Nobody goes to see them, though. They go to see Florida. They go to see Trinity. They go to see the other great gymnasts they have. You know, they lost Savannah Schnorr to a foot injury. She may be back at the end of the year. Not related to gymnastics. That happened. But anyway, they were there to see her. And what does Trinity do? She has a 10 in her first meet of the year. You're not supposed to get 10s in the first meet. You're supposed to get them in like the 6th meet. She got a 10, her 21st 10. 10s are hard to come by, and that's pretty impressive. But again, Florida with a huge win, easy win. But gymnastics, second biggest sport at Florida, in my opinion. Now, I will say this. Basketball barely outdrew them. You never know what the actual butts in the seats are, how much is season tickets they count. You never know for sure. They barely outdrew them. And again, that was because Georgia, because of Mike White, 1:00 game. I think that had a lot to do with why there was a pretty good crowd there. It was a late arriving crowd, but they did show up. And they did make a lot of noise. Rowdies were great. Credit to Kelsey Dooley. She was in the rowdy section, so got to click that off. So that was gymnastics on Friday night. Now tonight, we have the national title game. My wife said to me, I'm not watching that. I go, I'm going to do what I like to do with games like that. I'm going to put it on the second TV, no sound, and just glance at it. I don't think there's any way TCU is winning this game. I don't think Kirby Smart and Will Muschamp, with these 10 days to get ready for it, are going to not be able to solve the problem. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball, TCU. Their best running back is 50-50 for the game. And I don't think – I just don't feel good. I hope it happens. I hope TCU wins. I have a lot of friends that are Georgia fans or players. My brother-in-law is a Georgia fan. One of my like I've said many times, I'm a big Will Muschamp fan as a person, and obviously not a fan of him as a Georgia coach. But and I've learned to respect Kirby kind of the way I've learned to respect Nick Saban. Guys like Claude Felton up there. There's so many. I ran into one of their SIDs at the basketball game, and we talked for a long time. We're buddies, I don't. It doesn't bother me as much as if FSU or Tennessee or Miami. So Georgia's down on my list of teams I don't like, but I will buy a TCU T-shirt. In fact, I will wear the TCU T-shirt on the show Friday. Oh, I can't because Feinbaum will be on there, and that's SEC Network. So he would not like that. Maybe I'll wear it Monday. How about that? But there isn't much buzz for this game. Does anybody else feel this way? I know I talked that way about the semis. I think it's because nobody expects TCU to win. And this is one thing that the NFL just dwarfs everything. And with the playoffs situation they had yesterday, which was amazing, the whole weekend, the Jaguars winning on a fumble, all that, nobody was even talking about it. No, I mean, I know it was the 4th item or the 5th item on the Sports Center and everything. Not anticipated, and I don't think it'll be great ratings myself, personally. All right, so that is our Hand Law starting lineup. As always, we always love doing that. We appreciate our sponsor, Chris Hand. We'll come back with Coach Spurrier, who is, of course, brought to you by Meldon Law, and we'll have our Campus USA play of the game as well. It'll come from the Gator basketball game, which Coach Spurrier was at, so we'll talk to him about that and the playoffs when we return on another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Hello there, everybody. I'm Pat Dooley, of course, from another Dooley Noted podcast. And this is a great Adam Brewer, and he's just opened up a place here, Adam Brewer to go. What gave you the idea to do this, to have a to-go place?
We really like the fast concept, being able to get the barbecue. Now we have this new online ordering. So before it was a call ahead carry out. quick service. We have like a curbside kind of a deal where, everything's ready to go for you. And then we thought, wow, we have a really great dine-in concept, but how can we make this streamlined for the customer and make it easy and accessible for all parts of town?
Adam's Rib Co. to go. Come on down and enjoy it.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Bite Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Things have certainly got a little out of hand lately when it comes to just buying our everyday necessities. Just look at gas, streaming services, and heck, even chicken wings. Well, there is one necessity that shouldn't cost a ton: taking care of yourself and helping fix all the aches and pains in life, and the fine folks at Titan MRI agree. With costs a fraction of what you'd pay at a hospital, you'll not only save money, you'll be taken care of by staff with over 20 years experience. So when you need an MRI, call Titan first, and you can go where your doctors send their families. Now offering CAT scans.
Pat Dooley Storytime is brought to you by East Lake Pediatrics. Nobody knows how to provide pediatric health care for little Gators better than Dr. Mike and the other board-certified pediatricians and pediatric nurse practitioners of East Lake Pediatrics. They have been providing personalized health care to the children of Pinellas, Pasco, and Hillsborough counties since 2004. And with the recent addition of Dr. Chris, who is also board certified in sports medicine, they are now offering care for youth sports injuries as well. To learn more about East Lake Pediatrics, call 727-372-6760. And to get to know them better, listen to Dr. Mike and Dr. Carey on their Peds and Pop podcast on multiple platforms. Gator football is back, and the best way to get exclusive insight is a membership in the Gainesville Quarterback Club. As the oldest Gator booster club in the world, Gainesville Quarterback Club gives you the access to speakers like coaches, Gator greats, and more. Yeah, I even talk over there. It's pretty cool. Share your passion for Gator football with hundreds of other members at weekly in-person meetings or for non-locals via Zoom with an out-of-town membership. Right now, out-of-town memberships are only $150, and all new out-of-town signups get entered to win 2 Champions Club tickets to homecoming. That's pretty cool. Against Missouri, speaker presentations, home game tailgates, and special events throughout the year. Join the Gainesville Quarterback Club today. Email the club at membership@quarterbackclub.org or call me, Pat Dooley, 352-317-3444, and I'll get you in touch with the right people. Gainesville Quarterback Club.
Is your bank dropping the ball, not playing with heart or skill? Then you need to check out the scouting report on Campus USA Credit Union. That's a 5-star recruit if I've ever seen one. Campus has it all, like great rates and products, friendly service, and smart game plans for you and your money. So why not put some star power in your financial life? Visit campuscu.com or any campus service center today.
Honey, can I recruit you to take the garbage out?
Jeffrey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm joining the band, of course. Since Meldon Law is the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, I want to help.
Dad, we're litigators. Let's stick to helping people in the courtroom.
Well, can we still hang out and jam a little bit? At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
The games of the week and the games of the weekend every week are brought to you by the Ben Ige team at Odell Realty. Ben Ige graduated from the University of Florida in 1998. He and his team now help Gators find vacation homes in western North Carolina that also double as investment properties. Ben and his team have helped many folks take advantage of the incredible opportunities in mountain homes that also produce amazing returns on investments. Ben Ige and his team at Odell Realty go the extra mile to find properties and evaluate their income potential for their clients. Maybe you've thought of buying a home that can be used as short-term rental via Airbnb or Vrbo. generate income for you, and be a place for your family to vacation. Or you may just be looking for a great way to expand your real estate investment portfolio. I know I am. Visit www.beneige.com/Gators. That's www.beneige.com/Gators and discover what owning your own short-term home can accomplish for you. That's Ben Ike at Odell Realty, licensed real estate broker in North Carolina and proud Gator alum. Visit www.beneige.com/Gators or call 704-201-4264. Okay, welcome back to another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. And of course, Meldon Law also brings you this guy, Coach Steve Spurrier, coming in hot because you were at the basketball game. You helped them get a win.
Yeah, I had a chance to get to the men's game. And, Coach Golden's team really played well the second half.
Yeah.
We didn't shoot well at all beginning of the game. I think we were 2 of 11 on three-pointers. And then all of a sudden we started hitting them. And I tell you what, when you watch basketball today, whether college or pro, those guys that can make the threes, I think that's the ball game right there. And we started making them, played good defense, good hustle. Really, really proud the way the guys hustled, hung in there, and beat Georgia. And then our women lost to the Georgia ladies team. So we were sort of 500 with the Bulldogs this weekend. But anyway, they were all good games.
Yeah, I liked. I really the way Castleton played so hard. I mean, every time he gets the ball now, they're double and triple teaming him. But he's become a good passer. He blocked 7 shots, 6 in the first half, and just plays hard. I just love the way he plays.
Yeah. I tell you, all these teams, tremendous athletes running up and down the court, and the women's game has tremendous athletes also. I think the Georgia women shot, I think, like 17 free throws in the last quarter. So sometimes, the refereeing maybe goes with the other team, and that's life. But our women's team are good. I think we're going to bounce back and get it going.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. They're the thing with them is they struggle. The better the team, the more they struggle, which everybody does, But they need to get over the hump. So do the men. They need to beat somebody good. Yeah, if you want to get in the tournament.
Yeah, as we know, it's a long season, and you want to get hot at the end. That's the key,
right?
Because if you qualify for the big tournament, anything can happen, and you can have a big season. So it's
you got
early.
to get in. Yeah, you got to get in.
Yeah, it's early, but I think both our basketball teams will have winning seasons.
Yeah, it was certainly a good win for Todd. I don't know if you got to talk to Mike White before the game. I did a little bit, and I don't know if you talked. I know you were sitting down there with Lon, another former coach. It was former coach day, I guess, at Florida.
Yeah, Lon was recognized going into College Basketball Hall of Fame. Right. And then he was out here at Celebration Point as we dedicated the new track, the largest indoor track in the state of Florida, a full 400-meter track. And Jimmy Carnes, naming after Coach Carnes, well-deserved by Coach Carnes. Absolutely. His family was there, and a very nice function out here Saturday night.
Yeah, I think Cardozo was the MC for that.
He was.
Yeah.
Jeff Cardozo did a good job introducing everyone, and everyone said the right thing. And it is a beautiful indoor track. I think it's already rented for the entire summer coming up.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard that they're already going to have like events this week. I mean, they're ready to go. Yeah. And that it's kind of interesting that Florida, when they took that track out to redo the arena, and I was interviewing Mouse Holloway one day, and I go, man, I can't believe the disrespect. They took out your indoor track. He goes, we don't need it. He goes, we're just going to run fast. That's all you got to do is run fast. You know?
Mouse was here, and certainly it was an excellent night. And shout out to Chuck Clemens, Keith Perry, our legislative people did a good job of pushing for the sports complex here at Celebration Point.
And there's going to be more added, I think, right? There's going to be other things that are going to go on.
Yeah. Inside, there's a lot of extra things that can come. You can have cheerleading camps here all summer. Other sports beside track, it'll be available for that also.
Well, I know you watched some football on Sunday and probably Saturday night too, as we all did. And that was the playoffs situation going in. We thought it'd be one thing and it ended up being totally different. You made a great point about the fact that all three teams are in from the state of Florida, which, as I mentioned to you during the break, 99 was the last time that happened. But it's not like they've overwhelmed anybody to get in.
Yeah, the Bucks ended up with a losing record.
Yeah.
They didn't play everybody against Atlanta, but still they were, 8-9?
8-9.
And I think the Jags were 9-8.
9-8.
And the Miami was 9-8?
Yeah.
9-8 also, I think. So we're one game better than 500.
That's right.
But as it turned out, that got you in the playoffs. So if you can get hot in the playoffs, who knows what can happen?
Yeah, the good thing was that when Seattle won and Detroit's playing Green Bay, you think Detroit's not going to play hard because they're not playing for anything. But if you've watched the Hard Knocks at all, or Dan Campbell, that guy is not going to let anybody not play hard, and they go out and win that game. And what a way for Aaron Rodgers to go. I don't know if it's his last game. It may be, maybe not.
Well, I doubt if it'll be his last game, maybe the last one in Green Bay. You never know. I don't understand how all those free agent things work out. But there's always movement. You know, they fire coaches with 3 or 4 years left. They don't care. There's so much money in pro football and college football now. These college football staffs, the amount of money spent nowadays, nobody would ever have thought 5 years ago that the money would be spent the way it is now. So everybody wants to win, and there's plenty of money there to be spent. So
that's the truth.
Everyone can't win. The school that spends the most money doesn't necessarily become the winner.
No.
So because everybody's spending it now. I read where Missouri is going to spend about as much as Florida and Georgia and everybody else.
Right.
Missouri. So
and now Miami's building a $100 million facility. Yeah.
Yeah. The wealthy people in the world, if they love a school, then you got plenty of money.
Well, it's not just that; it's all the money you get from TV. You know, I mean, it's just
that's true too.
They write that check at the end of in Destin now, and it's
when I told somebody
$70 million.
I think it's up to 80. Every SEC school gets 80 from television, and the non-Power 5 schools, they may get 4 or 5 million. So it's a huge difference.
Yeah, you were quoted in USA Today talking about the differences now and what you had then to work with and what they have now, and these giant, massive support staffs. Plus, they're all making pretty good money. They're probably making what your wide receivers coach was making.
Well, the nutritionists are making what. Or they're making more than what our defensive coordinator, Bobby Stoops. I think he made 75,000.
Really?
His couple of years, yeah.
Now,
he was well under 100, yeah.
Did you was money an incentive for him to come here at all, or was it just coming here?
It's an opportunity to be defensive coordinator here instead of Kansas State. They were first in the nation in total defense there. And and he was a head coach 3 years later. That's why coaches move around.
Right.
Most all of them want to be a head coach. By the way, my son Steve is out at Tulsa now.
I saw that, yeah.
Kevin Wilson, head coach, offensive coordinator.
He was the guy who used to be at Indiana, right?
Yeah, he had the Indiana job and has been at Ohio State, I think, the last 3 or 4 years. Yep. So he got the head job there at Tulsa. And Steve's going to have a chance to run the offense. So wonderful opportunity for him.
Tulsa's a pretty nice town. Yeah, I've been there a few times, yeah.
Yeah, they're in the same. I think it's is it the Mid-American Conference? I'm not 100% sure. They play Tulane and
they're in
SMU
the AAC,
and all that
the American Conference.
Yeah, American Conference.
Yeah,
but it's just a step below the Power 5. But it's a good place, a wonderful school out there. So looking forward to that.
When we go to the new playoff, if you win your conference, and no matter what conference you're in, if you're ranked high enough, you get to go to. I mean, the top 6 conference champs that are ranked the highest get to go, so you can get in. You can slide into the playoffs. Are you looking forward to that, the 12-team playoff, or are you okay with where we are now?
I like 12 teams. I originally used to think 8 would be plenty, but 12 adds another week to it and gives 4 more teams a chance. So I think it's good. Sure.
I always think whatever gives me more football to watch is good. So
well, that's why the money is so big, because everybody loves watching football on television. And that's why we got 2 spring leagues now. My other boy, Scotty, is going to be special team coordinator for Bobby Stoops' his team in Arlington. And they're in the XFL.
Right.
And they're starting in February. And the USFL is going to start in April. They're advertising now. So we got 2 spring leagues, and hopefully they'll last a long time. It's an opportunity for a whole bunch of coaches to get work and players to prove, hey, I can go to the big leagues. So I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, who knows where your career would have gotten without the Bandits? I mean, that was huge for you, yeah.
Yeah, I got a chance to be a head coach at age 37.
Yep, and you're winning 11, 12 games a year.
Yeah, I give thanks, and I'm so grateful all the time that I had a chance to be a head coach at age 37. And some guys never get a chance.
Right.
And I guess right place at the right time. Tom McEwen told the owner down there, go hire that kid up at Duke. His Duke offense was 4th in the nation in '82, so I got a chance to go down there and be the head coach.
Tom McEwen ran Tampa, didn't he?
Yeah, when he spoke,
got the Bucks there. He did so much.
No, Tom McEwen, I think he won the Heisman Trophy for me.
He
told the sports writers around the country we hadn't had a SEC kid win it in, I think, 8, 9 years or something like that. So he sort of put the word out. Let's vote for this kid from Florida.
He's got a street named after him too.
Oh, Tom McEwen, he's a legend. He's a legend. And the night we won the national championship, back at the hotel, he was right there at the table with us, having a cold beer, celebrating our first ever national championship. So he was certainly welcome at all of our events here at Florida. Mm-hmm.
My favorite story about the national championship was Carl Franks told me later that when he went to bed with his wife that night, he said, "You're sleeping with a national champion now. You've never been able to say that before, but now you can say that." But there are so many great stories from that night. I mean, like we saw, Robbie and I were going down to the field after we got done writing, and we saw grown men crying. You know, they were just so happy to have finally gotten it done.
There's always something about first time ever.
Yeah.
First time ever. And winning the SECs was first time ever, and a lot of stuff. So, those are fun. But getting back to now, we still got recruiting going on.
Oh, I know.
Football. We have some recruits here Saturday night here at the restaurant, and Billy Napier and his guys are still hustling around. And February, that first Wednesday in February, I think is the National Signing Day. We had early signing earlier, so we got more football going on.
When I was walking out of I was about probably an hour after the game was over, the basketball game, and I walked out to my car in the parking lot, and you could hear all the stuff they were doing over there at the stadium, loudspeakers saying, and he scores another touchdown, and all this. I guess they have Sean Kelly doing it now. Used to have Mick doing it, where he would do a fake call of the game, But so, they're still going hard at it. And then you've still got I think it was a big weekend for transfer portal guys coming in too. Yeah. That are looking at.
Yeah, it's recruiting is year round, as we know now. So anyway, some of our other sports, our lady gymnastic team is either first or second in the nation, and
they could be one, but that was
Oklahoma won it last year, so they're going to be 1 and 2 with them till they face each other, I guess.
I was talking about this. Trinity Thomas, first time out, gets a 10. So you're just like. You want to go watch her because you're seeing one of the greatest college gymnasts of all time.
Exactly. And we're going to have big crowds at our gymnastics
They had
meet.
8,900 for that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Jenny Rowland, the coach, does a fantastic job with the ladies. And, there's a good chance we could win it all this year. We came within a half of a tenth of a point or something like that.
It was 0.125
from winning everything last year. And we won everything second to national champ Oklahoma, as it turned out.
Yeah, we had Jenny on the show last Monday, I think it was. And I asked her about whether they should be a tiebreaker in gymnastics. She goes, "No, let it. If 4 teams tie, let them all have a national championship and raise it up." She makes a good point because I know Florida, the last one that Rhonda won was a tie with Oklahoma, but they both got trophies.
Yeah,
so that was okay. They're really good. All right, let's talk about the national championship game tonight. it feels like there's not a lot of buzz about it. I think it's because the NFL kind of dwarfs it, with all in the national media.
With everything going on yesterday. Yeah,
Yesterday.
it does. And the other thing, it's way out in California.
Yeah.
And you got a Texas team and Georgia. It seems like let's put that in New Orleans or somewhere in the East or Midwest. But they do it before the season starts.
Right.
So LA gets it, and that's the way it is.
Would you be in favor of not predeterminate?
Yeah.
Just saying.
Let's just wait. We got all these facilities available. Don't put it in Georgia Dome. That'd give Georgia a little edge, but maybe New Orleans or somewhere like that would certainly be fair.
Yeah, I was when they were talking about a neutral site for that playoff game if it ended up coming out. I think that's out the window now. I don't. I'm not even sure. I've gotten so confused by everything. Yeah. I was thinking, well, Gainesville will be great. It's nice weather. You can come out here. We'll go see that game.
Yeah, there's a lot of big stadiums available if they need neutral sites. That's for sure.
Yep. What's your thought on that game? I mean, it's hard to imagine a way TCU is going to win, but that's what they've done all year.
Yeah, if it gets close, something good could happen for TCU. Obviously, Georgia's favorite, but you gotta go play. So could be a big upset. I remember last night when Green Bay's playing Detroit. Yeah, everybody's picking Green Bay.
Sure.
And Tony Dungy wanted to be different. He said, "I'm going to say Detroit can beat these guys." I'm going. He's the only one out of about 8 people. So it goes to show you anything can happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not many of us saw TCU beat Michigan.
That's right. They weren't supposed to beat Michigan. That's right.
And they're supposed to run for over 200 yards against the best run defense in the country. But so hopefully it's a good game. That's the main thing you want. Yeah. Georgia 12.5-point favorite. So that's pretty big spread for
that. Seems like a lot, but time will tell as it plays out tonight. Yeah.
All right, we need to get to our Campus USA play of the game, and we do this every Monday with Coach Spurrier. So this is one. It was down the end from where you were, and this was it. Boom, right off the guy's butt, lays it in, gets fouled. Kyle Lofton does a little dance, and it was just a smart play. And when I'm sitting there on the other end, Steve, and I'm looking at it as they're lining up, and I'm noticing no Georgia guys are facing him. And I'm going, if he wants to, he can bounce it off a guy and lay it up. And sure enough, he did.
Right there. Yeah. Yeah. You don't see that very often. But I saw something last night I've never seen. The Green Bay-Detroit game, Detroit had a long field goal, and the Detroit player walked in the middle and started grabbing the ball.
Yeah. Green Bay player did that. Yeah.
Yeah, the Green Bay player. I said, what's this guy doing? And nobody ever said what he was trying to do. What was he trying to do?
I think
he got a 15-yard penalty. It gave them a lot easier kick.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a bonehead move.
What was he trying to do?
I think what he was doing was saying, hey, you subbed in. We have to stop the play. But that's a ref's job. Yeah. That's not his job to walk up there and put his hand over the ball and say, no, we can't.
Is that what he was doing?
I think that's the only thing I can figure. I haven't read anything about it, but it was weird. I mean, I've never seen that one happen before. I've seen guys tap at the ball on a snap, and try to make them fumble, and they get penalized for that. But I've never seen a guy come and just put his hand on the ball.
Yeah, that was the first. And then another first I saw that I really liked. Kansas City Chiefs, Andy Reid, he's got some
the circle play,
the merry-go-round. They got in the huddle, for you people who didn't. They got in the huddle, and they all started going around in a circle about 3 times, and then they ran to the line of scrimmage, and they threw a little quick screen out, and they threw it back to Tony.
Kadarius Toney. And then to Kadarius Toney,
Kadarius went and scored with it, but they had 2 guys on the line of scrimmage. One of them should have been off. Yeah. So they got a penalty. But I think Kadarius scored the next play or something. They had another play. But it was the merry-go-round play.
But it's a version of that thing you used to do where you got everybody into the huddle and then you never knew who was going to have the ball.
That was a hidden ball play. Yeah, I wish I'd used that more. We used it in the Sugar Bowl, and Chris Bilkey ran about 12 yards. And nobody knew he had the ball until he opened up. And he wasn't patient. We tried to tell him, go as long as you can because you hide it and 4 guys take off running. And he ran right up the middle. Nobody knew he had it, but then he started sprinting with it, and they could tell he had it. But he made 12 yards on the play.
Yeah. No, I mean, would you probably run that 4 times maybe?
I should have run it more, but we ran it all the time in practice because guys love doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love doing it. And the defense had to sort of tackle all 4 of them or look, make sure who had it. It's a decent play, really is. And actually, Clemson tried a version of that on the kickoff. They had about 4 guys come in, and they all took off. And, of course, the guy took off with it, fumbled. So Dabo may not want to do that again, but it was a sound play. Only one guy knew who had the ball.
Did you get that play from somebody, or did you come up with it yourself?
I don't know where I got that play.
I'm always curious about the origins, because you guys kind of started running the speed sweep before anybody else.
Mm-hmm. A little quick play, yeah.
And I think Jimmy Ray said that he brought it over from Fort Walt.
Mm-hmm.
I think I asked him that one.
Yeah, quick play we called it. Yeah, that was a good.
It was, when it was really good when you had John Capel, who could run faster than anybody on the field.
We had good players. There's no question, great players. In fact, Riedel Anthony came up for the Jimmy Carnes track dedication. And I've forgotten, Riedel actually ran track here.
He did.
And Jimmy Carnes was his coach. So he's living down in Tampa now. So good to see Riedel. And, of course, we rehashed all of his famous touchdowns. The one in Knoxville
the best one.
May be his number one.
I like the one at Arkansas, too. The first play of the game, right? When you threw just a deep ball.
Oh, just a deep ball there.
And he was wide open behind the defense. The kickoff return against Auburn, that was a good one. Because you guys are down 10-0 at that point.
Yeah, he had one there. He had so many big ones. The 94 SEC championship game, even though the Doring pass to Aubrey set up the go-ahead score, Riedel caught 8 passes that day, at least 1 or 2 touchdowns. And I remember telling him and Fred Taylor, if we don't recruit you guys out of Belgrade this year, we probably never would have won the SEC, because they had big plays, Fred and Riedel, in that 94 SEC championship game against Alabama. So it's always fun to reminisce when you see a player, man, one of those big plays that he made during his career flashes back and, get a little smile and a good memory.
Yeah, disappointing Fred didn't make the finals for the Hall of Fame, NFL Hall of Fame, but
hopefully
it's tough.
Yeah, hopefully he can get some votes. He deserves to be.
There were a lot of great players on that list, though. I mean, it's like you look to the finalists, you go, I can't really kick him out. So it's hard. True. It's hard. All right, Coach, and we appreciate him being on. Of course, he is brought to you by Meldon Law, and we always love doing the play of the game with him on for Campus USA. So, which he's a spokesman for them. And if you watch football all weekend, you probably saw your commercial about 10 times.
Yeah, they like to play that one with me and Tebow, don't they? Yeah, Tebow's a good actor.
Well, that one, you got that one. You got the one where you're for Campus USA, where you're doing that with the iPad and everything. The Tebow one is hilarious. So it makes me, the first time I saw it, I started laughing out loud. How did he do in that? Was he good?
He's an excellent actor. I look for him to do some movies someday.
Yeah.
He really should.
Could be.
Yeah.
All right, we'll let Coach get out of here. We'll come back with our Hesser and Kipke 3 things, and, of course, Leonardo's, all that stuff. And, of course, Robbie Andreu will be joining us for Yes, Nowhere, Maybe on another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Hello there, everybody. I'm Pat Dooley, of course, from another Dooley Noted podcast. This is a great Adam Brewer, and he's just opened up a place here, Adam Brewer To Go. What gave you the idea to do this, to have a to-go place?
We really like the fast concept, being able to get the barbecue. Now we have this new online ordering. So before it was a call ahead carry out, quick service. We have like a curbside kind of a deal where, everything's ready to go for you. And then we thought, wow, we have a really great dine-in concept, but how can we make this streamlined for the customer and make it easy and accessible for all parts of town?
Adam's Rib Co. To Go. Come on down and enjoy it.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Bite Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Things have certainly got a little out of hand lately when it comes to just buying our everyday necessities. Just look at gas, streaming services, and heck, even chicken wings. Well, there is one necessity that shouldn't cost a ton: taking care of yourself and helping fix all the aches and pains in life, and the fine folks at Titan MRI agree. With costs a fraction of what you'd pay at a hospital, you'll not only save money, you'll be taken care of by staff with over 20 years experience. So when you need an MRI, call Titan first, and you can go where your doctors send their families. Now offering CAT scans.
Pat Dooley's Story Time is brought to you by Eastlake Pediatrics. Nobody knows how to provide pediatric health care for little Gators better than Dr. Mike and the other board-certified pediatricians and pediatric nurse practitioners of Eastlake Pediatrics. They have been providing personalized health care to the children of Pinellas, Pasco, and Hillsborough counties since 2004. And with the recent addition of Dr. Chris, who is also board certified in sports medicine, they are now offering care for youth sports injuries as well. To learn more about Eastlake Pediatrics, call 727-372-6760. And to get to know them better, listen to Dr. Mike and Dr. Carey on their Peds and Pop podcast on multiple platforms. Gator football is back, and the best way to get exclusive insight is a membership in the Gainesville Quarterback Club. As the oldest Gator booster club in the world, Gainesville Quarterback Club gives you the access to speakers like coaches, Gator greats, and more. Yeah, I even talk over there. It's pretty cool. Share your passion for Gator football with hundreds of other members at weekly in-person meetings or for non-locals via Zoom with an out-of-town membership. Right now, out-of-town memberships are only $150, and all new out-of-town signups get entered to win 2 Champions Club tickets to homecoming. That's pretty cool. Against Missouri, speaker presentations, home game tailgates, and special events throughout the year. Join the Gainesville Quarterback Club today. Email the club at membership@quarterbackclub.org or call me, Pat Dooley, 352-317-3444, and I'll get you in touch with the right people. Gainesville Quarterback Club.
Is your bank dropping the ball, not playing with heart or skill? Then you need to check out the scouting report on Campus USA Credit Union. That's a 5-star recruit if I've ever seen one. Campus has it all, like great rates and products, friendly service, and smart game plans for you and your money. So why not put some star power in your financial life? Visit campuscu.com or any campus service center today.
Honey, can I recruit you to take the garbage out?
Jeffrey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm joining the band, of course. Since Meldon Law is the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, I want to help.
Dad, we're litigators. Let's stick to helping people in the courtroom.
Well, can we still hang out and jam a little bit? At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
The games of the week and the games of the weekend every week are brought to you by the Ben Ige team at Odell Realty. Ben Ige graduated from the University of Florida in 1998. He and his team now help Gators find vacation homes in Western North Carolina that also double as investment properties. Ben and his team have helped many folks take advantage of the incredible opportunities in mountain homes that also produce amazing returns on investments. Ben Ige and his team at Odell Realty go the extra mile to find properties and evaluate their income potential for their clients. Maybe you've thought of buying a home that can be used as short-term rental via Airbnb or Vrbo, generate income for you, and be a place for your family to vacation. Or you may just be looking for a great way to expand your real estate investment portfolio. I know I am. Visit www.beneige.com/Gators. That's www.beneige.com BenIke.com/Gators and discover what owning your own short-term home can accomplish for you. That's Ben Ike at Odell Realty, licensed real estate broker in North Carolina and proud Gator alum. Visit www.beneige.com/Gators or call 704-201-4264. Okay, welcome back to another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. We thank Coach Spurrier for being on. Now to another legend, the great Robbie Andreu for Yes, No Way, or Maybe. He comes to you on the Big Mills Cheesesteak Zoom line. Robert, how are you? Did you watch a lot of NFL this weekend?
Yeah, I did, Pat. It was pretty entertaining. I loved watching the Lions beat the Packers and eliminating them last night. That was sweet.
I got a kick out of that, too.
Yeah.
There were a lot of good results yesterday.
Yeah.
I wanted the Dolphins to win. I didn't think they'd win 11-6, but I think it was a big 3-run homer, put the game away.
Yeah, really.
And
what about the opening kickoff in Buffalo, though, Pat?
I literally had tears in my eyes, Robbie.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Yeah, I was saying this earlier that I went. Well, Karen was working in another room, and I walked in there. And she saw that I like tears in my eyes. She goes, "What's the matter?" I go, "You won't believe what happened in the Bills game." And her first reaction was, "What?" And I said, "They ran back the kickoff for a touchdown." I can't believe
it. The crowd went crazy, Pat.
I'm surprised they didn't all leave at that point. Just say, "That's it. We can't do anymore." That's it. And it ended up being a great game. All the games were really interesting. But it's time to play yes, no. No.
Will the game tonight be interesting?
No, I don't think so. I will be surprised. I hope so. I hope it's at least competitive. But it's definitely second TV sound off for me for that game. I don't want to hear Fowler and Herbstreit talking about how great Kirby Smart is. I just don't want to do that. It's a personal thing.
Yeah, what a great story, the quarterback and all this
stuff. Stetson Bennett, blah, 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 blah.
Just a little old walk-on. What a story.
You know, what was great yesterday is somehow we had the red zone on. And I didn't even know where the red zone was, but I accidentally hit the 270, it turned out. I was trying to hit 250, and all of a sudden the red zone's on the whole day. I'm watching it, and the great thing was as soon as guys started to blab, boom, they went to another game. You know,
that's awesome.
It was the best. I wish college football could have a real true red zone like that.
That's fun watching that.
Okay, it's time for Yes, No Way, or Maybe, brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteak, street dining done the right way. And we appreciate the great Keith Miller over there, a sponsor of the Bob Dooley Invitational as well. And if you go in there and order a meal, you get free fries with the order if you mention another Dooley Noted podcast, or if you mention Robbie Andrew's name. I think that'll get him for you as well. Number one, Robbie, on Yes, No Way, or Maybe, Stetson Bennett is the MVP of the game tonight.
I'm going to say yes. I mean, usually the winning team in the national title game, the quarterback is the MVP.
Exactly.
And he didn't play great in the last game, and Kirby Smart got all over him. So knowing this kid's history, he'll rebound with a great game. They'll win, and he'll be the MVP. So, yes, a definite yes.
If I was going to bet money, that's who I would bet it on. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
And who else on Georgia's offense has been that dynamic? Now, you never know. A guy could go off, and you never know what can happen.
But you're right. He's been the star of the show all year. So spreading the ball around, and the tight end could be the MVP.
Yeah.
Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers could have a big game.
Yeah.
Do you think that Stetson Bennett is undervalued by the average fans in America?
Well, you know what it is, Pat? He has the stigma of being a walk-on. And for some people, they just can't get over that.
He's not going to play at the next level. I mean,
no, he's not going to play in the NFL. And he's got the stigma of being a walk-on, which some people, it sticks with you all the time. And I still look at him as a walk-on. He's one of the great mysteries in college football to me, that how he can be this good when nobody wanted him coming out of high school. Even when he was in college, nobody wanted him.
Yeah, and he's got great players around him, but he executes and he gets it done and he finds ways to win. In fact, I was thinking about this the other day. If you remember, the only time Florida's beaten Georgia lately, Bennett got hurt after getting him out to a 14-0 lead, and he got hit in the shoulder, and he was not the same after that. If he doesn't get hurt, they probably never lose to Florida.
Yeah, but
hopefully,
Pat, between his ears, he's a 5-star quarterback.
Absolutely,
that's where he's so good. He knows what he's doing. He knows the offense, and he's coachable. So 5-star between the ears.
Yep, that's a good point, Robbie. All right, number 2 on yes, nowhere, maybe. The Bears now have the number 1 pick. They will trade it to a team that needs a quarterback because they have Fields, so they probably don't want to take quarterback. They could take Will Anderson or somebody like that, but do you think they'll trade it?
I'm going to say yes on that, Pat. You're right. Everybody's going to want the quarterback to be the number 1 pick. So, yeah, they're going to have bargaining power there with that and can still probably trade down, get a Will Anderson, whatever, you know. So, yeah, I think they're going to trade that pick because they've got their quarterback. They don't have to worry about that. So, you know, other teams are going to want to grab, a certain quarterback, and they're going to do anything they can to trade up. And I think that the Bears will float that out there.
You can make an argument that if you have the number 1 pick, you probably maybe don't have a quarterback, but I don't think it was all his fault. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
We'll see how he does. Number 3 on yes, nowhere, or maybe. Robbie, you are happy with your matchup with the Giants.
No way. I'm not happy with anybody they play, Pat. Even though I was encouraged by the fact they went on the road and won a game yesterday, so that was good.
And you're at home, the skull thing going on. You got isn't that noise they make on third down come from that movie, Arrival?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But that whole skull thing, I can see how that would get on everybody's nerves if you weren't a Vikings fan. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'll be rooting for the Vikings in that game. I root for the Vikings because I want you to be happy, Robbie.
Thanks, Pat. But yeah, the Giants they'll be tough. I mean, even though, you know, their offense isn't great, they don't have much at wide receiver, but the Vikings haven't been any good on defense all year, so going to have to outscore them.
Yeah.
A team that doesn't score much.
Yeah, with a quarterback who's you never know what you're getting out of him, right?
Yeah, you really don't.
All right, that's going to do it for Yes, Nowhere, Maybe. As always, we appreciate Robbie for being on, and he is brought to you by Hesser and Kipke. So we appreciate Hesser and Kipke as well, double sponsors that they are. Robbie, we'll talk to you on Monday.
Thanks, Pat. Good talking to you.
All right, Robbie Andreu coming at you. Love having him on for Yes, Nowhere, Maybe. Let's move on to 3 things, which, of course, is sponsored by Hesser and Kipke. And Hesser and Kipke also sponsors Robbie's segments, and we appreciate them so much. Of course, you know Hesser and Kipke is a Gainesville law firm specializing in the areas of workers' compensation and family law. Ken and Jennifer take pride, not bride. They take pride. No matter how many times you put this, they take the prize in their one-on-one focus on each and every client they represent. Ken is board certified in workers' compensation law by the Florida Bar, while Jennifer possesses extensive jury trial experience with a nearly 20-year background as a prosecutor. Don't believe me? Well, check out their more than 50 5-star Google reviews. Or better yet, give them a call, 352-339-9920. Hesser and Kipke, we appreciate them. Number 1, all right, it's Black Monday, and I haven't even looked yet lately to see if anybody else got fired yet. So there's going to be a lot of coaches get fired. It always happens on Monday. In the NFL, and Coach Spurrier was kind of alluding to this in college, but in the NFL, I mean, you get 1 year. The Texans have fired 2 straight coaches after 1 year. And today or yesterday, but by the time he got back from winning a game, which they didn't want him to win because when they win the game, they lose the number 1 pick. They could have gotten Bryce Young. But if you coach not to win a game, you don't need to be in the NFL. You don't need to be anywhere. But they fire Lovie Smith. Lovie Smith, think about this. His last 3 years in the NFL, 11-37. That was at Tampa Bay and 1 year with Houston. Before that at Illinois, 17-39. Now he did have some great years, obviously, before that as a coach with the Bears, but well, he just doesn't win games, but he gets handed really bad situations. I don't know about. I mean, I appreciate Lovey trying to win that game, and I always, if a coach doesn't want to win a game, doesn't try to win a game, doesn't coach to win a game, he needs to go. Now, I know that Brian Dable did that. That's okay if you're resting players because you're in the playoffs in the NFL, but it's not okay just to say we're not going to put the effort up because we want to get the first pick. I don't agree with that. All right, but they did what they did. They did what they did, and we'll see how many other players get fired. Our coaches get fired. Players get fired all the time. Number 2 on 3 things by Hesser and Kipke. I wanted to bring up Michaela Schifrin, who I saw this thing on Real Sports, and they were talking about her and her dad and their relationship. And you probably never heard of her, Michaela Schifrin. I'm probably not even saying her name right. But they were talking about how when her father, who was her biggest supporter, like most dads are, but I mean, it's a big deal because she was very close with her dad and he passed away, and she literally laid in bed with him while he was dying. And she was telling the story, and I started crying. I'm a crier. But she laid there with him and really eventually felt his body go cold and knew he was gone. And it was the saddest story I've ever seen. I didn't know much about her, but I started paying attention to her. And on, I think it was on Saturday, she tied the record for the most, and by the way, she is a skier, downhill skier. She tied the record for the most wins in a World Cup competition with 82. Lindsey Vonn has that record. I think it's on Tuesday. She can win again and break the record. The all-time record for anybody is like 89. This was the record for women. Lindsey Vonn had the record. Again, I wanted to bring it up because she just seemed like such a cool person. It's such a, it was emotional watching that Real Sports. Real Sports, I'm telling you, is so good. Every time you think, oh, they're doing a story about volleyball in Pakistan, you watch it and it's great. It's one of the greatest things you've ever seen. Anyway, thumbs up to Brian Gumbel for doing that. All right. And finally, number 3 on 3 things with Hesser and Kipke. This was another big recruiting weekend for Florida. I mentioned earlier about them having the loudspeakers going over there after the basketball game over the swamp. Florida fans are kind of waiting for something really big to happen. So far, all the transfer portal guys, for the most part, not all of them, have been guys who didn't play much or didn't. Now, again, I know that's why guys want to transfer, but I think Florida fans were hoping Florida would get a bunch of guys who were really good at some level, and now they're going to try to be good here, which is what a lot of teams are able to do. I don't know if they see something we don't. They just signed a kid who was a low 3-star, played at Michigan, linebacker. It didn't really play this year, redshirted in his first year. Okay, well, maybe it goes back to the same thing I always say. You either trust your coaches or you don't. Some of you may not. Some of you may. Some of you don't feel either way about it. It is what it is. But anyway, was another big recruiting weekend, as Coach Spurrier was talking about earlier. That is our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. Appreciate them. Let us go to Adams Rib Co. to go Gator of the weekend. And we had Adams Rib Co. to go for the weekend. We actually went there Friday and got a nice dinner and enjoyed it at home. Look forward to seeing it again this week because we love going to Adams Rib Co. to go. Gator of the weekend, I could have easily made it Trinity Thomas. I got a feeling I'm going to have a chance to do that again this year. So I decided to go with 2 NFL players. One was Kadarius Toney, who Coach was talking about, that merry-go-round play they ran. The funny thing was he scored, but they didn't have a guy lined up right. The way he scored, the play didn't work because it got blown up and he broke a tackle and went in and scored. They called the penalty, brought it back. Then they gave it to him on a jet sweep. The next play, he scored again. That guy is going to be a difference maker. I cannot wait to see him in the playoffs. The bigger the game, the bigger he usually plays. And boy, what a great break. Now, I know when he was with the Giants, they were good too. They're in the playoffs too. But to go to Kansas City and play with Mahomes, him and Eddie Pinero or Pinedo, depending on how you want to pronounce it. You say Pinero, I say Pinedo. You say tomato, I say tomato. kicked the game-winning field goal for Carolina. They beat the Saints 10-7. I know it wasn't a game anybody was watching, but it was cool. Buzzer beater. So good for Eddie. It was amazing to watch games, by the way, this weekend. And I didn't know Tease Tabor was there. I didn't know that Jared Davis. I can't remember where he is now. But there's a lot of guys who are still in the NFL banging around and making a salary, and good for them. A lot of former Gators out there. That is our Adams Ribco to go Gator of the weekend. Our Leonardo's at Millhopper quick picks. I thought we had a bunch of winners because everybody I think picked the Jaguars. I got to go back and look at it. But then I forgot I put the spread on there. They didn't cover the spread. Spread was 6.5. So I don't think anybody won again. I don't think anybody qualified. We got to get people qualified. So don't feel bad if you. I think might have been two people. Actually, there were two people that picked the Titans. And now that I recall, so we got to get more people qualified. I know George Luttrell made it in. That was one name I remember seeing. So we'll see what happens. But here's your pick for this week. Florida LSU, Tuesday night. You got plenty of time to get it in if you're listening to it on Tuesday. Florida LSU, it's at LSU. No spread. I'm not going to give you a spread. Just pick a winner there and see how that goes. By the way, one of our people that gets in the contest a lot pointed out to me that when I was talking about the Go-Go's on Friday not being in the Hall of Fame, they did go in the Hall of Fame 2021. The documentary I was watching, they hadn't gotten in yet, so I assume they hadn't gotten in. I don't really follow it that close. I think the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a bit of a sham. It's not well done. Let's just put it that way. I could go on and on, but we're already running way late, so I'm not going to do that. All right, let us get to our games of the week, and as always, or as of 1 week, they are brought to you by Odell Realty and Ben Eig, and we appreciate them so much for being on there. Of course, Odell Realty up in Charlotte, they sell the kind of homes that I want to live in one day. One day I'm going to move to that area up in the mountains. Maybe tomorrow. All right. So the games of the weekend, LSU, of course, we have the national championship game tonight. They keep saying the game starts at 7:30. I find that hard to believe. Nothing ever starts at 7:30. That's a big deal. But maybe it is at 7:30, or maybe it comes on at 7:30 and they kick it off at 8:15. So I never bothered to really check on that. But anyway, there's a game tonight. Of course, it's on like every network tonight. Then on Tuesday, Florida's game is at 7 o'clock on the SEC network. So Florida LSU basketball. There's another really good game that night that I want to watch. North Carolina at Virginia. Virginia ranked. North Carolina seems to be kind of finding things. They were unanimous preseason number one. I don't know if it's unanimous, but I felt like there was no question, but they struggled early. That's at 9 o'clock on ESPN. And again, the Gator game is on SEC Network. Wednesday, really good game, Alabama at Arkansas. Of course, Arkansas just lost on the road to Auburn, but they're a different animal at home, certainly in that environment. That's on ESPN too. And the women are at Tennessee. Coach was mentioning that Thursday, 6:30. And that'll be on SEC Plus. I guess, Thursday. All right, so those are our games of the week. And, of course, we'll have a lot to talk about on Saturday with games of the weekend because there's so many NFL games. 7 NFL. I think 8. What's it go? 2, 3, 1? Maybe it's 6. Anyway, there's a lot of NFL games this weekend. Wild card weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. Finally, Pat Dooley story time. We have to get to that. I always say that we have to get to Pat Dooley story time, but we love getting to Pat Dooley story time. And I haven't run out yet, but I was talking about this with Ken Hesser about seeing Paul McCartney. And the one time I saw him was when I was a student at the University of Florida, senior. 4 of us went up together. Ken Plato, Bob McElroy, Steve Senepe, I think was the other guy. We went up together and late at night, drove all the way up to Atlanta to see Paul McCartney the next day or next evening. And at some point, very deep into the ride, there was a lot of alcohol being consumed. Not by the driver, but everybody else. And all of a sudden, I had the window down and some guy, something hit me in the face, like just flew it. I go, man, did you throw your beer out the window? Or no, he didn't. He didn't throw anything out the window. He puked all over me, all over the back of the car, everywhere. So we stopped the car and there's only so much we can do. And let's just go, let's get there and we'll clean it up tomorrow. It's 4:00 in the morning. And of course we get there, we get into our hotel room. There's a Braves replay on. I stay up. I'm sitting there with vomit on my arms. And I'm like, oh, the Braves are on. This is when they sucked too. That's how much I loved the Braves back in the day. McCartney was great. I couldn't find my seat for some reason. And I just wandered around the arena the whole night. This was the old Omni. Wandered around, getting good, different views of it. It was unbelievable. Live and Let Die was tremendous. Not my favorite McCartney song, but I don't think, as I recall, he played any Beatles songs. So I think he was still too soon, So this would have been 76. Yeah. I know. I was a senior in 76. Your parents hadn't even met yet, Tammy. In fact, your grandparents hadn't met yet. All right. Let us get out of here because I'm going way long. I don't even want to know how long this show's gone. Hour 10, maybe? Hour. Oh, it was? Okay. Well, I like talking. I'm sorry. And I hope you guys enjoyed listening. You can get off the treadmill now. Until next time, for Tammy, who did a great job as always producing, I am Pat Dooley saying I'm deep, I'm way back, and I am out of here.